Another manic week in the Premier League. It's going to be a quick one this week. Got a few errands to run. We are currently in match week 27. We're going to go through match week 26 first. We'll start at Anfield. Liverpool 4, Luton Town 1. I think I might have already spoken about that in the last video, because obviously match day 26 kind of correlated with match day 25. But Liverpool did run out 4-1 winners on the day, and of course obviously Ogbene got the opener for Luton on that day. Crystal Palace 3, Burnley 0. That was from Selhurst Park. Formality result, this one. Crystal Palace getting themselves back into form. Obviously, new manager at the helm now, seeing as Roy Hodgson has now departed. Burnley just look out of sorts. I don't see them getting out of this form, to be quite honest. I do see them in my bottom 3 going down. Crystal Palace comfortably will finish in about 16th, 15th, 16th, but there'll be no danger of them going down either. Aston Villa versus Nottingham Forest. That was from Villa Park. More in hope than expectation. Aston Villa running out 4-2 winners at Villa Park. Looking really, really good. But obviously Europe round the corner now, so they are going to have to use the entire squad, and I think that will be to their detriment. And I do see them falling out of the top 4. Nottingham Forest, similar to Crystal Palace, will be there or thereabouts, but I don't see them going down either. Man United 1, Fulham 2. Probably the biggest shock of last weekend, but is it a shock really? Man United have been absolutely terrible for a little while now. Obviously made it through in the FA Cup midweek, but Fulham had a game plan, executed it very well, and I love the midfield transitions of Fulham as well. I thought Iwobi was very, very good. Man United, atrocious, all over atrocious, and that was from Old Trafford as well. So another loss there for Man United. They lose race in the top 4. Brighton versus Everton. That was from the Amex. That was a draw. A lot of people expected Brighton to win this one. Not to be, unfortunately. Everton again came with a game plan like Fulham, executed it perfectly. Took a goal. Scored a goal first. Went a goal up. But yeah, Brighton at the Amex, they're one of those teams that don't know when they're beaten, and it showed again. They do have a bit of resiliency about them, and got a creditable draw, even down to 10 men. Bournemouth versus Manchester City. That was from the Vitality Stadium. Manchester City winning 1-0. I think it was a Phil Foden goal, wasn't it? Yeah, Phil Foden getting the winner there. Manchester City just going about Manchester City business this time of year, hence why I think they'll be champions. Bournemouth will be fine, they won't be going down either. Arsenal 4, Newcastle 1. Formality result these days when it comes to Arsenal. They are picking up a lot of really, really good wins and scoring a lot of good goals. Newcastle just aren't in form and didn't have any answer to anything that Arsenal threw at them. Very, very smooth display from them, from the Emirates, and Newcastle have plenty of work to do to maintain finishing in the top 8 at this rate. Wolverhampton 1, Sheffield United 0. That was from Molyneux. Again, Sheffield United are going to be my other team that's going to be going down this season. Yeah, not much more I can really say about Sheffield United at the moment. Wolves weren't particularly good, but the things that they did do well, obviously, is what got them over the line. Great goal from Sarabia as well, in a game that was literally few and far between with regards to chances. West Ham 4, Brentford 2. That was the Monday Night Football. That was from the London Stadium. West Ham United back on form. Brentford have been in a horrible, horrible, horrible spiral pretty much since the start of the year. I think they're the worst team in form at the moment. Even with the Ivan Toney sort of coming back, can't seem to buy a win at this moment in time. Brentford, good win for West Ham from the London Stadium, and they are propelled back into the top 7. On to match day 27 in this week. Newcastle versus Wolverhampton. All games will be at 3 o'clock today, and then you've got the usual late kickoffs and Super Sunday as well. But Newcastle Wolves, that is from St James's Park. I'm going to go with a 2-2 draw there. Goals all around in that one. Tottenham versus Crystal Palace. Tottenham obviously need to get back onto winning ways. Last time out, at home especially, they did lose to Wolves, and I see a Tottenham win here. I'm going to go 3-1 against a very depleted Crystal Palace side. Nottingham Forest versus Liverpool. That is from the City ground. Liverpool will continue on their fantastic form, obviously after winning the Carabao Cup last week as well, and then winning midweek in the FA Cup. I see Liverpool going on. I think they will win this 2-0. This courage side, I believe, with Salah coming back as well. Brentford versus Chelsea, that's got draw written all over it. Both teams are really, really terrible at the moment. Even though Chelsea did go through in the FA Cup this week, beating Leeds. Very, very tight game that was at Stamford Bridge. I think Brentford and Chelsea will play out a 2-2 draw as well. Goals galore in that one. West Ham versus Everton. Or Everton versus West Ham, I should say. That's from Goodison Park. Everton have just recently got a boost. I think they got 4 points back from the 10 they lost earlier in the season for breaches. West Ham coming off a very good win over Brentford, but Everton at Goodison Park, you never know what you can get with them. And I think there will be goals there, so I'll probably plumb for a 1-1 draw there. Everton 1, West Ham 1. Fulham versus Brighton, that is from Craven Cottage. Again, one of those that you can't necessarily call. Brighton, not in the best of form, had a good result last week, obviously. Fulham, very, very hit and miss, but coming off a very good result against Manchester United. I will probably go with a Fulham win, we'll say 2-1 to Fulham there. Luton Town, that's the late kickoff, well, one of the late kickoffs today. We got Luton Town versus Aston Villa from Kenilworth Road. Depends what Luton Town show up. If it's the Luton Town that got beat by Manchester City in midweek, Aston Villa are going to run all over them. Luton Town need to be a bit more pragmatic, I feel, in defence. They need to shore it up. Absolutely. They play far too open. And if you're going to do that against this very good Aston Villa side with Leon Bailey and Ollie Watkins on top form, you're going to get torn to shreds. In saying that, I do think Aston Villa will come out on top of this one. I'm going to go with a 2-1 Aston Villa win, but goals galore everywhere, as I've been mentioning. On to Super Sunday, Burnley versus Bournemouth. That is from Turf Moor. Burnley are not in the best of form at all. And like I said, I do see them going down. Bournemouth, I do see them going there, and I think they'll pick up the win. I'm going to go with 2-1 to Bournemouth. On to the massive game we've got thereafter. That is from the Etihad. This is the Manchester derby, of course. Manchester City versus Manchester United. Erling Haaland's favourite opponents at this moment in time. I am going to go with a Manchester City win. If the Man United team that showed up against Fulham last week, or the team midweek against Nottingham Forest show up, it's curtains for them. And I see that being curtains for Manchester United anyway. De Bruyne, Foden, Haaland, Silva. It's going to be an absolute madness. And I do see Manchester City coming out victorious on this one. Last game of the weekend, Sheffield United versus Arsenal. That is on Monday Night Football from Bramall Lane. And I think Arsenal are going to go there and absolutely smash them to pieces, to be quite honest with you. I probably would go anything other than a 3-0 win for Arsenal. I don't see any hope for Sheffield United in that game in particular, even though it is under the lights. I know it's a bit quick today. Sorry about that. Little bit of my roundup, though. I'll do a much better one, obviously, a much longer one next week, where we start off at 12:30 from Old Trafford. Man United versus Everton will be the game that kicks off next weekend. I'm going to go. Try and enjoy your weekend. Enjoy the football. Stay safe. And I'll speak to you soon.